He almost didn't go. Standing outside the softly lit house, gift trembling in his hand, he told himself this was just a birthday. Just a family obligation. Nothing more. But then she looked straight at him, her voice barely steady, and said something that shattered every boundary he had spent years building. Something no one was ever supposed to say out loud. And in that moment, his entire life, and his daughter's future, changed forever. After his brother died, life stopped making sense for Daniel Harper. One day, he was an uncle who visited on weekends. The next, he was a widowed single father, struggling to raise his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, while grief followed him like a shadow he couldn't outrun. His brother, Michael, had been everything Daniel wasn't: confident, successful, the center of every room. And when Michael died suddenly in a car accident, he left behind a wife, Rachel, and a silence that swallowed the family whole. Daniel avoided Rachel's house after the funeral. Not because he didn't care, but because every corner of that place reminded him of what was lost. The laughter that no longer echoed. The men who should still be there. So when the invitation arrived, Rachel's birthday, Daniel stared at it for a long time. He didn't belong there anymore. That was what he told himself. But Lily tugged at his sleeve and said, "Daddy, Aunt Rachel always bakes the chocolate cake you like." So he went. The house looked the same, but it felt different. Older. Heavier. Like grief had settled into the walls. Rachel greeted him at the door with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She looked tired. Strong, but tired in the way only someone who's been surviving too long can be. Throughout the evening, Daniel stayed quiet. He watched Lily laugh with Rachel's friends, watched Rachel move through the room like someone holding herself together with invisible stitches. Then came the cake. Candles. Applause. And then silence. Rachel cleared her throat. "There's something I need to say," she began. Daniel felt his chest tighten. This wasn't part of the plan. She looked at the guests, then slowly, directly, at him. "Daniel," she said, voice shaking, "I need you to stay after everyone leaves." Something in her tone told him this night was about to become something else entirely. The house emptied one goodbye at a time. When the door finally closed, the silence felt louder than the party ever had. Rachel sat down across from Daniel at the kitchen table. Her hands were clasped so tightly her knuckles turned white. "I've tried not to say this," she whispered. "I've tried to ignore it. But it's been eating me alive." Daniel swallowed hard. His instincts screamed that he should leave. But he stayed. She took a breath that broke halfway through. "After Michael died. You were the only one who showed up without trying to fix me." Daniel frowned. "I didn't know how." "That's why," she said. "You didn't treat me like I was broken." Her eyes filled with tears. "I never planned this. I never wanted this. But somewhere between grief and survival, I realized something unthinkable." She paused. Then said it. "I fell in love with you." The words landed like a storm. Daniel stood up so fast his chair scraped the floor. "No," he said. "Rachel, I can't." "I know," she interrupted quickly. "I know how this sounds. I hate myself for it. But it's the truth." Daniel's mind raced. Loyalty. Guilt. Fear. His brother's face flashed in his memory. "This is wrong," he said, voice breaking. "He was my brother. And he loved you," she said softly. "More than anyone." She stood too now, tears streaming freely. "I loved Michael. I always will. But loving him didn't end my life. Grief didn't kill my heart, it just changed it." Daniel looked at her and saw not betrayal, but loneliness. Not disrespect, but honesty. "I didn't ask you to feel the same," she said. "I just couldn't carry this alone anymore." They stood there in silence. Then Lily's small voice echoed from the hallway. "Daddy." Aunt Rachel's crying. In that moment, Daniel understood something deeper than guilt. Life doesn't stop because tragedy happens. Love doesn't die because someone we loved is gone. And sometimes, healing comes from the most unexpected place. Months passed. Slowly. Carefully. With boundaries. With honesty. Daniel didn't replace his brother. Rachel didn't forget her husband. But together, they rebuilt something new, not from betrayal, but from shared pain and shared hope. And one evening, as Lily laughed between them on the couch, Daniel realized something powerful. Love isn't a betrayal of the past. It's a promise to the future.